Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
Right.
And a very special guest is Mickey Weir. How you doing, Mickey?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. Thank you very much for taking the time to come along.
Not a problem, lads, not a problem.
Aye, a bit of hassle kind of getting set up with the room getting set up and stuff, and Mickey's had to watch us because we've went in another room and stuff, and Mickey's had to watch us get set up, so apologies for the delay.
No, not a problem. Not a problem.
Other than the football, how was your weekend? So what'd you get up to, Mickey?
Yeah, it was just I came along to watch the Hibs, and then went home with a sore head, obviously. Scored the last kick of the ball. But no, it was great. I enjoyed it. Good weather and that. All we needed was a result, but it didn't go our way.
What about yourself, Dave? Anything exciting?
It was good. I was saying that you must have got absolutely roasted in that East because you're obviously ginger, and then the sun was just beating on us the whole match.
Yeah.
So the result didn't match the weather, unfortunately. But apart from that, what else did they do? Nothing. Played football. That was it. Had a wee drink.
Me and a couple of my friends went up to one of the parks and kind of had a few drinks and stuff, and then it was getting later at night, starting to get darker and stuff, and Claire was like, "Oh, we'll wait and we'll watch the fireworks and things like that because of the show." And it's right, okay, so we'll wait and then we're like, right, we're going to get something to eat. What time are they due? They're about 10:30 or something. It's like 9:30. Go get a chippy, come back. We're sitting eating a chippy in the pitch dark. All got our phone lights on and stuff. And then Tristan goes, the last night, the fireworks, no, last night, looked on his phone, 24th, so there was no fireworks. So we're sitting there in the pitch black. We could have went back to their flat for 2.5 hours waiting for these fireworks that never came. So, that's a fun way to spend my Sunday night. But yeah, so I mean, we'll kind of run through a few things today. We'll obviously look at St Johnstone game ahead of the Motherwell game, but obviously talking a bit about your time at Hibs as well. So, but before we get into the St Johnstone game, obviously we'll kind of come into the game in particular in a minute. Hibs at the moment, I guess we'll start with, you were in the papers, was it last week, talking about Hibs defence. You felt maybe they should have started rebuilding the defence last year.
Yeah, it was just my own thoughts, you know. I think there's a lot of players there that have done a great turn for Hibs, and it's very difficult at the age of 34 and 35 to keep putting out these performances, you know. And I thought we could have maybe rebuilt the defence good year, maybe 18 months ago, really, because there was always going to be a time where players that are big players for the club are going to struggle with injury or suspension or whatever, and I never really seen a rebuild starting, so that was my concern, and I'm still concerned about it now, to be honest, because I just think if we lose 2 or 3 players, then if you look at it, we've not got a real backbone, you know, experience here, you know. And there's a lot of players coming to the club, and it's no easy to just go in and put a Hibs jersey on and become a centre half or even a striker or whatever, because there's a lot of pressure goes along with it, you know.
Yeah, and I think on paper, I mean, you think, you've got Gray, McGregor, Hanlon and Stevenson, so and then we've added Jackson, you've got Porteous coming through, and then James, and then Mackie. You think, well, maybe that should be enough, but I mean, injuries has kind of really played a part in those sort of folk not settling in. And I mean, I've kind of heard some theories that maybe that obviously they're great servants to the club, they've done really well, but maybe we've been a bit sentimental with the fact, they won the Scottish Cup, maybe kind of not kicking on and bringing in new people that maybe, like, as good as they are, looking for better. We've not done that sooner because they won the cup for us and because they're heroes for that.
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, these players have done a great job for the club, you know, but in football you can't stand still in football, you know, and I just feel at times that I think if you leave it too late, and it can come back to haunt you, really, you know. And but we have got players, don't we? I'm not saying we've not got players there that can step in, but to ask a young lad at 19, 20-year-old to go and stay in the centre of your defence and become a regular is very, very difficult, you know. If you look at the Hearts situation, they've got Berra in there, who's an experienced player, but he's also got younger players round about him, so they've just sort of rebuilt their way, you know. And I just think it's, looking at just now, I worry about the longer season if we lose 2 or 3 players. But there again, maybe the manager feels that he can turn that. That's really down to him, you know.
And I mean, that's something that there was an article about. It was nottheoldfirm.com. They had an article about, we've never really replaced Milligan and Bartley as well. We've brought in Vela and we've brought in this new boy who we've not seen, but apparently they're a bit more further forward playing. Just still feel that we kind of need somebody for that number 6, or do you think this Swedish boy could be the answer? We've never seen him, but
well, like Mickey's saying, if we've got Porteous, like, he's only 19, say if he's a main centre half, you probably do need somebody experienced sitting in front of him. the way that we play, like if we're going forward with wingers, we can get caught out. I think you do need a bit of protection in front of the back line, especially if your fullbacks like Stevenson and Gray are bombing forward. So like we said last week, probably shouldn't have got rid of the two of them in the same window, but we did. So see what this Swedish boy's like.
Yeah, and hopefully there'll be the opportunity for more finances to kind of hopefully fund a new defence, things like that in the future. You were obviously quite vocal in the past about Petrie and things like that, especially after we got relegated. What was your kind of thoughts when Petrie eventually left?
Well, I just thought everybody knows my thoughts on it. You know, I thought at the time the club was becoming a nothing club. You know, and I was brought up with the history of Hibs always been there or thereabouts. You know, and I've not got an issue with anybody. My main issue is always about the club. I don't care who runs it or who's involved in it. It's just mainly about the club. And when you see the situation we are going back maybe 7-8 years ago, where the club was just slowly but surely getting worse and worse, and I worried about it. That was it. And I think it came to a head with the Scottish Cup final, obviously, where we got a real doing of our competitors across the road. That was the start of it, you know. And I thought to myself, something needs to change here. But fortunately we did, and I think we've got to take into consideration as well that we've lost two exceptional players, one exceptional player in John McGinn. You know, when you lose these type of players, to replace these guys can take 3 seasons, 4 seasons, and he's just proved it, isn't he? He's went down south and he looks as if he's just got better and better, and looks as if he maybe going again and get up to to replace these players is very, very difficult, and I always seen that coming. You know, that's where I thought maybe a rebuilding situation should have been done. It should have been, especially at the back. I think you were always going to lose McGinn because McGinn was just an exceptional football player. But you do need your Bartleys in that in the team just to steady the ship a wee bit. If you're too forward thinking, you get caught out. But these guys are hard to replace, you know, and it's took a wee bit of time to do that, and it might take a wee bit longer. But in terms of the club, no, I think the Scottish Cup helped the club so much, you know. It helped the club, helped the supporters get back on side, because we were flat for a few years, you know. I just didn't see the real desire to push the club into Europe every season or whatever it is. But now the Scottish Cups has helped it, and I just hope that we don't slip back into that. That's my one. We don't want to slip back to that type of 2-3 seasons where it was just getting relegated and then coming back up and then worried about getting relegated the next year. I don't think that doesn't suit Hibs. Hibs are bigger than that, you know.
Yeah. And are you excited with the future with the Ron Gordon coming in? Obviously still a bit unknown,
100%. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it maybe take a wee bit of time for him to make his own judgment on the club, what way he wants to do it. He's the owner of the club, but certainly if we could get some funds into it and go and buy the right type of player, we should be looking to get into Europe. Hibs should always be looking to get into Europe every season if possible. Now it's not easy, you know, because Aberdeen are a strong side, you know. Rangers are becoming get better. Celtic are always up there, obviously, so it's not a bit easy, but a wee bit of finance behind it, and hopefully we can be getting better as a club, because we've showed if you get a winning team on the pitch, you see the support over the last 2-3 seasons been great, you know. Coming here and the derby games are exceptional. Every game's different, but the crowd were back, you know. You could see the supporters were back with the club again, and that's a great feeling. When you've got that, it's a strong bond, you know. Yeah, strong bond.
And I mean, Dave, you kind of obviously we don't look at persons in particular, but I mean the previous regime, you had the stats before. I don't know if you remember off the top of your head about how successful we'd been in that 20-year period. You know, how often we'd finish in the top 6.
Oh, it was like three or 4 times we'd finished. Like, and well, no, it was 50% of the time we were in the top 6, but only like 3 times we'd go into like Europe or better. So like Mickey's saying, we should be aiming for better than that, and that was all during Peach's reign. So it was like we were just settling, trying to be okay, and then that was average was like a pass marks. But I hope now with the new owner, that's average is not good enough, and what Mickey says, I hope we're not going backwards after the Scottish Cup, because it's brought record season tickets. Yeah. So you didn't want to start getting to the point where, like, obviously at the weekend there, fans booing subs, booing at full time. You didn't want that to be the norm, and then people stop coming back.
you ever experience that? I mean, we'll start get into the St Johnstone game stuff, but you ever experienced while you should be on a team, somebody's been taken off, and rather than one of your teammates getting booed, the decision of them getting taken off being booed? You ever seen that?
Yeah, I've been involved in loads of booed. I've been booed on the park, booed off the park. I mean, as a professional football player, that's par for the course. You know, just getting used to it. You get used to it. You know, but like you say, what you don't want is it to continue. You know, week in, week out, and the players are a wee bit nervous of going out to playing football. We should never be nervous going to play for the Hibs at Easter Road, especially. You know, but when it creeps in, it's very difficult to change. The only way you do change it is win football matches. You know, but you'll always get people wanting more. You know, but we've got to take a step back sometimes and look at over the last 2-3 seasons. We had some exceptional players here. You know, and Neil Lennon's time, when we've lost a few of them, I think we've lost 4 or 5, maybe 6 that were good football players, and when you lose them, to bring that back is no easy. You know, it's no easy. But you don't want it to be a part where players are going out there and expecting the boos to come, because that's never easy to play in. You know, no matter how good you're doing, it's no easy to handle.
Did it affect you if, like, say for example, the fans are getting on top of you during a game? Did that affect you?
Of course, yeah. At the end of the day, we're human beings, you know. You play your game, but there's nothing worse than getting a booed. I remember playing it there, and I think we should have lost at Kildenbeath in a Scottish Cup tie. I think that was on the Saturday, and then we played them on the Wednesday out there, and we got booed going on the pitch. Booed going on, that's the way it is. You know, you had to deal with that, and we eventually got through. But I remember when we played at Kildenbeath, we should have lost the game. We were very fortunate to stay in the cup. So I think every especially nowadays, I think it's got worse nowadays because there's so much hype around football clubs. You know, obviously the Twitter and the Facebook and whatever it is, it goes on and on and on. So I think for players now, you've got to be mentally strong nowadays. You know, to deal with these type of things.
Yeah. So I mean, the St Johnstone game, obviously that was the big talking point. The Scott Allen being booed whilst coming off because of the decision rather than about him himself. Dave, what was your thoughts on him being played on right midfield rather than through the middle?
Like absolutely bizarre. Your best player, and you should be playing in his position in the centre of the park. I've never seen him play right mid before. Somebody said he maybe played right mid with Dundee, but didn't do that well with Dundee, did he? He was injured for a fair bit there, so definitely should be playing through the middle. Yeah.
What about yourself, Mickey? What was your thoughts on that when you seen?
Well, every time I've ever seen Scott Allen, he's got great talent. You know, and it's always been his modern day number 10 or whatever you want to call it, playing off the front, when he gets to freedom. But when if you look at him when Wee Lenny was here, he was given the freedom. You know, he was given the freedom, but he also had 3 exceptional football players beside him. You know, and that's the difference, you know. And when you've got guys like, I was very lucky, I played with a lot of good players that fans wouldn't look at and think, oh, he was an exceptional football player, but what he did for the club, for the team, you know, such as your Brian Hamilton's, and I played with Brian Hamilton, who done a great job for me. He done a great job for me because he would do the hounding, the fighting, the battling, and you could then just go and express yourself. These guys, you need them in your team, and that's what I think Scott Allen needs a type of guys in the side to allow him to go and express himself. But certainly the talent he's got, but it has to be used in the right way, and it's got to be fitted in the team properly, because it's all about team. You know, it's the good sides that are good sides. It's about team. You know, individuals maybe just spark you something, but you still need the wee mix right in certain areas of the pitch. But he's certainly one that he can find a pass. Like he wanted into Ibrox, you know, like we lost, but that wee pass that can. And he made one at the weekend there, just when he slotted in for a bit. I think it was a couple of minutes, and he passed the ball through. To be fair, if he score here, I think the game's done. You know,
I think that was one of the only times he kind of went towards the middle, just sort of drifted in himself, and then you know, he's in that middle and he puts the ball through, and I think Doige gets through and hits the ball at the keeper. You know, decent chance, but and I think Safe probably would have tied up the game. I mean, we took the lead with Jackson. You know, good to see us scoring for set pieces. It was a good ball in, and good header for Jackson. But St Johnstone kind of came back into the game quite a bit, and I mean, to me, kind of walking away from the game, I think what was it, 18 chances that St Johnstone had. they probably deserved to win the game, never mind draw. So to get that late goal was kind of quite probably what deserved at the very least. What was your kind of overall thoughts on the game then?
No, I was commenting the day from an article on Evening News that I just think that we look like we're a team that at the moment are more worried about the other side than worried about what we're doing. I think we're trying to negate what other sides are bringing to the club to Easter Road, whereas I think we've got to go and have a go. I mean, we've got to make this place, i.e. I keep going back when we Lenny was here, we were feared, everybody was feared to come to Easter Road, and we had that wee bit of my time as well. You always say to yourself, at home we'll get points on the board, but the minute you've probably seen it yourselves, you as supporters, the minute you see it against St Johnstone, we sat off them. We got in front, and then instead of going for the jugular and say, right, let's get the second one, let's get the third one, we allowed them to come back in the game. And I don't know how you felt, but I looked at them and thought they were waiting to get beat. And we gave them a wee sort of inch to get back into the game, and then suddenly they grew. And there's no doubt in my mind in the second half they deserved something for the game, because mainly just down us coming off the gas instead of saying, right, let's go and put the game to bed now. When you're at home, yourself, you get the supporters behind you, but the minute it goes flat, it's very difficult to turn it. The minute you just allow the team to get back in, it might just be, we were always told, get an early shot in, get the supporters up, and it didn't start like that,
No.
We went 1-0 up, and then we kind of just allowed them back into the game. You can't do that at home. At home you've got to be full throttle and try and win your game.
There wasn't much to get the fans going. That's what I said to you. Like, the ref made a bad decision at one point, and the kind of place got a wee lift for it, and I was like, we shouldn't be relying on the ref making mistakes to get the place buzzing. So that was my main concern. And then I think Heckenbottom looked worried when he took a striker off and put on obviously another midfielder, because we were losing the midfield. So I think that, again, what you were saying, it just makes St Johnstone think they're worried something's going to happen here. Gives them a wee bit of belief, and that's a team that's been absolutely hammered at Celtic Park. I know they came back against Livingston the week before, but
Cup as well.
They've been absolutely slated opening part of the season, and they should have won at Easter Road. And it is worrying off the back of letting Morton back into the game, getting hammered at Ibrox, struggling to beat St Mirren. It's quite a worrying, and I just hope that we need another striker, but I hope that we settle down and the wee bit of belief comes back in for winning games, where that's a confidence thing. But don't know.
Do you think there needs to be a bit more arrogance as well, in terms of, like you sort of saying about, we're kind of setting up and worried about what the opposition are doing? We're kind of need to be a bit more arrogant in our own game and confidence in our own game, that we're at home against a team that are probably going to be in the bottom six. We need to just go play our own game. And
I think you've got to you've got to make your mind up. For me, as a manager or coach or anything, you've got to make your mind up what way you're going to go. If you want to be an attack minded side, then you're an attack minded side, but if you want to be defensive side, it's very difficult to change that. It's difficult. It's okay if you're hanging in there, but if you lose a couple of goals, then you say, well, what do we do next? And you've got to make your mind up as to which way you want to play. I just thought it looked a wee nervousness about us, but especially the first 10 minutes we got out the traps, and I think, well, the big striker does well, bullies the guy off him, runs in, squares it. But Canberra, if he scores there, it takes the edge off a lot of them, and then we just went into a wee lull again, but it would maybe be a confidence thing, because when you lose 6 goals at Ibrox, that can play. Eventually, it'll play. You'll get a wee feel for that. It's something you'll get a wee lashback, whatever you call it, because it's not easy when you lose 6 goals to get your confidence going again. But I just think we've got to go after teams, especially at home. Away from home, yourself, sometimes you've just got to see how the game goes. But at home, it's vital that at Hibs that you've got a good home record. I think your home games are vital to a club of this stature. Teams should be coming to Easter Road worried about, we're going to be in for a torrid time here today. The minute you step off that, you can keep teams' confidence. We don't want teams to come here and think, we've got to have a good day today, we can go to Easter Road and pass the ball about and keep and that's what it went like, didn't it? In the second half, it just, they were actually keeping the ball, and I'm thinking to myself, just letting him grow into it. It was coming for me. It was coming.
He said he's going to play with high press. And that's where there's been no high press at all. And then what I was saying to you, it's like, well, the object of game of football is to put the ball in the opposition net. You've got to try and keep it out. But we're mucking about with the ball at the back, like so slow. But I don't think the players are good enough to play with the ball at the back, because as soon as we get pressed, we were losing possession quite easy, and then that's when folks started getting nervy because they were knowing about them losing it and nothing's happening. There's no creating anything. But
you mentioned there about how it can be quite difficult to come back from a big defeat at Ibrox. Right, and you were kind of in the team at the time, 95, when was it 7-0?
7-0, yeah, 7-0.
How did the team kind of come back from that then?
Well, that was a strange one actually. I'd never played that day, so I'm not getting involved in it. I think I was on it, but I'm not really sure. I come back for injury. I remember I was coming back, and it just shows you how football turns. You know, that's a great part of football, isn't it? And I remember we just got a hiding, and I remember the manager pulling me in, and I'd just played a number of reserve games. I was just getting myself back. And who did we have in the midweek? It was the Hearts here. And he said to me, "Do you think you'll be ready?" And I said, "Oh, I think I'll be ready for an Edinburgh derby, you know, because that's what you play for, eh? The Edinburgh derbies you can't beat." So anyway, and we were heavy. They were heavy favourites. Hearts were heavy favourites, and under massive, severe pressure we were, because they thought they were just a matter of come over here, and the way we played, we thought. But the night started, and they scored early on as well. They scored early on, and we recovered and won the game. So we just went from one extreme to the other. But to get through that, you need a certain type of character of people that can handle when the stick's gone a bit. That's when you find a lot. I've seen a lot of players that played for the Hibs that when the pressure really got, you know, or supporters having a go at them, they kind of, you know, they lost their game a wee bit. And that's where you find out a lot about yourself as well as a person, or find out a lot about your teammates, whatever. So that was one game, yeah, but it was 7-0, and it was 7 going on 17. You know, it was just one of the days that they were flying. And you get games like that. You get games, doesn't matter what level of football, you'll get that, but it's how you recover is the most important thing. And I do think there's been a wee dent in the confidence of one or two of them since that result, you know, and it's just natural, but they've got to get through that, you know? Yeah.
How would you have felt if we'd had an Edinburgh derby straight after that game at Ibrox?
Worried, but then if we'd won, then it would have wiped the memory of Ibrox out straight away. Aye. So it maybe would have been a good thing. But it's the 22nd of September, the derby.
And the next home game, yeah.
So they've got a chance, straight after getting booed off, the next time they're at home, let's say, derby, the chance to do the same thing. So,
yeah. Okay, so we'll kind of leave the St Johnstone game there, and we'll kind of get chatting to yourself, Mickey, about your Hibs career and stuff. You know, how was it kind of coming into Hibs as a youngster?
It was a dream come true, really. It just happened so quick for me. I was obviously very fortunate. My family were all Hibs supporters, my friends were all Hibs supporters, and then I just suddenly got taken into Hibs as a 16-year-old, coming up for 17, I think it was. It was a kind of late developer, really. I gave the game up as a young man. I've told so many people this story, but because I was small, you know, and I'm still small, but I was smaller then. And I gave the game up, but I was kind of heartbroken because I kept getting told, you know, you're too small, you've got good ability, but you're too small. So I kind of drifted away from the game for a few years. And it was just one of my mates that convinced me to go back to playing again. And I got the bug for it, played for my school, and then went to Portobello Thistle, and just out of the blue I was asked to play in a one-off game out on the pitch, and it was for I think it was Edinburgh schoolboys against a mixture of Hibs players, trialists and whatever. So it was a trial, really. It was a one-off trial. Yeah. And I obviously did okay, and then the manager, Pat Stanton, offered me a contract. But my dad, obviously I was always going to sign for the Hibs, you know, because my dad was just not having anything else. But I didn't realise later on there was a few other clubs that were quite interested, but my dad said, no, you're signing for the Hibs. That was it. And so that's how it started. And then, to be honest, if I'd have played one game for the Hibs, it would have done me. You know, I just wanted to see I played one game for the Hibs, and my dad would have handled that. But I was fortunate for then on played a few games, and I loved it because it's your home club, you know. It's something that no many people can say, you know. They've played for the club that you supported as a young man.
And how was it came about the move to Luton? I mean, I know you were only away for a few months, but so how did that one kind of come about?
That was a strange one. That I'm actually doing my book just now, so I'll leave a wee bit of that for there.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it was really me. I was a bit impetuous when I was young, you know. I was impetuous, and I wanted to try something different, you know. And there was a lot of off the field, was a lot of problems as well, because I was a young man brought up in a housing scheme in Edinburgh. I didn't realise how much it meant to people for you to play for the club, you know. So the hassles I used to get off the pitch was unbearable at times. It was tough, you know. And I just got impetuous, you know. So this situation came along, and I went for it. Probably the biggest mistake at that time, but I was so angry with what was happening, you know, because I just thought it was just a matter of going playing for the Hibs, but I didn't realise that you couldn't go up the tune with your pal, your friends. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. It was just a new world to me. And you're only talking about a couple of years before I made my first team debut. I was playing maybe the Jack Kane Centre in Edinburgh, or, you know, just normal juvenile football, and suddenly it's on top of you, and you felt like the world was on your shoulders, because I was still young, you know, just learning my trade and playing for the club. So I did get a bit impetuous, but so that's how it kind of started. But I knew very quickly that I'd made a mistake, you know. I knew very quickly. I thought, what have I done here? Because I was used to the hype of the playing for the Hibs, you know, and it wasn't until you're actually away from it you realise, oh my God, I'd do anything to do that again. I still do it now. Yeah. You know, I would do anything just to put a Hibs strip on and go and play for your club, So it was just the same then, no different.
And was Luton, because you're saying obviously, you know, living in the area and having all that, was just sort of Luton sort of like, away to England's like definitely away from all, and I think that's one of the reasons you kind of...
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was just to say I was a bit unsettled at the time, you know, and just things that was happening off the pitch was really annoying me, you know, because I'm quite a quiet person. I'm not a person. I don't drink. I don't smoke. You know, I don't do anything like that. So I wasn't such a person to go up the tune all the time anywhere. But it was just wee things that would niggle away, you know, and people spitting at you, and, you know, and you're only a young man. Boys try to attack you, and they're thinking, what's this all about? But it wasn't until later on that you start to learn how to handle it a wee bit more. But when it's thrust upon you very quickly, it was difficult to handle. But as I say, once I got myself back to the club, then I realised then quickly, you know, I'm a very fortunate guy here. I'm very fortunate to be where I am. Let's go for it now. Let's get yourself together, you know. Yeah.
And how did it kind of come about getting the move back?
Well, it was a story. My good friend Paul Kane, who I think's coming on very shortly, he was a big part of it, because I knew there was one game. What really put me off it was I had never had any problem with injuries. You know, and when I started to play on the plastic pitch and train on the plastic pitch, I was getting real problems with my hamstrings and my back, and I kind of thought to myself, I've never had this. I had a wee bit, you know, it wasn't as bad, but then suddenly I was getting it every day. I was aching, and I'm thinking, I was only a couple of weeks down there, and I was waking up, I was like a cardboard cutout. I couldn't move, you know. I'm thinking, something right here. But anyway, and it started to grow on me. I wasn't feeling myself, and I eventually said to myself, you know, something, I would like to get back up the road if I could, which was the same again, impetuous again, young man, you know. And I phoned my good friend Kano, and I let him be known that I would like to come back up the road, and he put a good word into the manager, and that just kind of started from there. But Kano and I've got so much respect for these people, because they knew how much the club meant to me. They knew that this was my club, and I was desperate to get back playing against. And when these kind of things come about, when you're talking about the club itself, that's why we're so passionate. Yeah. You know, you've got to remember me and Kano, boys like Kevin McKee, these type of guys, we were in relegation battles at Ibrox at 17-year-old, try to keep, you know, a young guys just thrust in there to try and win a game of football to keep us, because at that time we were struggling a wee bit, and they put the young ones in, and then you're having to clean the terrace and everything. About you this was your life, this was your club, you know. And so that's how we're so passionate, you know. When we see it no going right and you're not happy with it, you kind of get a bit passionate about it, which I'm not going to change now. And you know, people like Paul Kane, these type of, we're not going to change because we've got the club at heart. You know, we love the club, and nobody wants to see success more than us. You know, that's the key of it. But certainly I was very fortunate to play for the club that I wanted to play for, you know.
Aye, so see, when you were just saying about the pressures, you like getting out and even up the town and that, how do you think players deal with this days? How would you deal with social media? Like, would you have social media?
I just wouldn't be on it. I just wouldn't be on it at all. I do a wee bit myself, and it's mainly for, because I try, and obviously you can see I do a lot of work with Show Racing Red Card and charity work and things like that. I'll try my best anyway, but certainly I just wouldn't be on it. I would, it wasn't my scene. It wouldn't be my scene as a player. It wouldn't be my scene anyway. But I could see how people would get unravelled in it. You know, I think it would mess with your mind. Definitely think it could mess with your mind if you were taking that kind of criticism week in, day in, day out, and it's okay saying, yeah, I can deal with it, but eventually, you know, it'll hurt you, it'll get to you. And I always made a great manager say to me one day that, you know, I remember him telling me he was getting so much stick in the press, you know, so he went to an old experienced manager and said to him, you know, I'm getting slaughtered in the press are having a go at me, and he said, well, why are you reading it? Just don't read it. And it was right, you know. And if you do read it, you know yourself, you just read all these and that kind of stuff, but eventually it will affect you. And I see so many players being affected by it who think they're not, you know, and suddenly the performance is that they don't play the way they want to play, they're not happy about themselves, and I think they bring so much on it themselves. You know, I don't think they need it. Just concentrate on your football, you know, concentrate on playing your football, and that will look after you, and everything will fall into place. But I just think there's so much pressure on. I think they put it on themselves, to be honest, you know.
I mean, you think some of the players at the club just now and stuff, you know, there's the other way there's Facebook group chats, there's the 2 forums, there's Twitter, all these different places for people to voice their opinion, and if players do get bogged down reading it, it's going to affect their confidence. And you think like forwards and things like that, how much they rely on confidence and stuff. And you know, I think like Flo last season chucked it in the left wing and things not going his way, and obviously he was chucked into the media storm and stuff like that after Lennon departed. Must have been a troubling time for him, and you know, fans starting to moan on social media and stuff, you know. It's not going to help them.
Well, I'm quite involved in a lot of things that happen away from the pitch and that, and I think a lot of it is affecting people's mental health. I do think that's a major part of a lot of young players nowadays, and all the players, I hear it all the time. I never heard that years ago. You know, you'd hear everybody gets tough times, you know, in football. You maybe going through a wee football crisis where you're not playing well, but if you look at it, the big issue is if you're constantly listening to people giving you abuse, then it's going to affect you. Some people can, you know, I played with players that never affected, you know, it was water off a duck's back, you know, they could deal with that, but there's some people that can't do that, and that's the worrying thing, you know, and because there's so much out there now, you know, and it must affect a lot of young players, and I know that for a fact, you know that for a fact. That's why I worry, and I've always said to players, young players, even older players, I think if you're to look at it and think to yourself, you know, don't do it. You know, try and concentrate on playing football, concentrate your training, your life, concentrate on playing football, and don't get caught up in all the stuff that goes round about it, you know.
It's something I've got a lot of respect for Neil Lennon about. You know, he's been very open about his mental health, used his platform of being a well-known manager to, you know, say kind of, you know, all of that stuff that he's been had thrown at him has had an effect on him, and it's okay not to be bothered by that and stuff. So a lot of respect for the way Lennon's used his platform to kind of really raise a lot of awareness about mental health and men's mental health in particular. So you know, back at Hibs, and then you're back at Hibs for quite a long time. So what was it? So apart from the 3 months away, was it 13 years?
Yeah, it was 2 spells, 13 years, round about that. It was interesting times, but great times, very, very, as I say, I was very fortunate to play in good sides along with good players, but I always believe that the people that made me were the players like your Gordon Rays, your Ali Brazils, these type of boys. When I first came into the club, great pros, you know, great professionals, taught you good habits, we'd have a kick you up the backside when you needed it. But I think we've got a few here at the moment are a bit like that. You know, your Dan McGregors, your Hanlons, Stevensons. They'll probably be these type of players that young players can look up to. I had that, and they gave me so much confidence because I knew I had a fight on my hands. You know, I was 5'2" with my hands up. You know, so I knew I had a fight in my hands to become a professional football player. But they always gave me encouragement. Yeah, they would be tough at you at times because they've got to be. It's a tough game, you know. But players like Ralph Callaghan, all these guys were good to me, but I learnt so much of them. You know, the way about their business, the Big Gordon Ray and that, the way about their business. You know, good professionals. You know, looked after themselves, trained hard, and the club meant a lot to them. And then obviously you've got great people like your Paddy Stantons and Jimmy Rooks and George Stewart's, Jimmy Thompson's, proper Hibs people who kind of they let you know how much it meant to play for Hibs, and they were tough on you, but they had the club at heart, and they made a lot of us. Become professionals. I believe anyway.
And I mean, obviously, we've spoke about some of the stuff off the field that can have an effect, and you spoke about how much you've got the club at heart. How difficult was it playing for the club at the time with all the stuff with Mercer going on and potential takeover? I never ever felt it was difficult to play for this club. Never. I always felt privileged. I always felt I always felt as if I had good support because I always had the supporters were always great with me. I think it was because it was small, but I always had a good, and they always helped me through bad times, so I was lucky that I had a good support mechanism amongst players and the supporters, but mainly the supporters, because there was many times as a young player where I wanted to leave the club because I wanted to play, and I always felt I had a fight in my hands with every manager. I always felt I'm going to have to show I can play, I'm going to have to show I can do this, and I always knew that there was a problem. Do you have the stature to handle playing in that league? And I knew that, but the supporters got me through a lot of times. They kept me at this club like they would not believe, and it was basically because I always felt myself, I want to keep going, just keep going, be resilient, keep going, and it worked for me. Yeah. And then specifically with all the stuff going on with the takeover and things like that, and potentially, I mean, did you ever think there was going to be like an Edinburgh City, or would you just kind of, how's that to be in the dressing room or that?
It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. You're thinking about we're going to have Hibs. It was that close. I've always, we've spoke about it quite a lot of times. Seeing supporters outside there just crying their hearts out, grown men, thinking they've got to lose their club, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not right. This is not real, but. It was a reality. It was very, very close, and you're thinking there's not going to be a Hibs, But what they did underestimate was the rivalry between the two clubs, Hibs and Hearts. No matter what you think about it, you can't beat rivalry in football. Without rivalry, there's nothing. There's no one. But there's a difference between rivalry and hatred, but rivalry is what keeps the supporters going, And even the Hearts supporters were coming up to me and saying, no, we don't want this to happen. Could they look forward to playing against the Hibs? The Hibs look forward to playing against the Hearts. Then you had Hearts players, folk, they were coming out and saying this shouldn't be happening, But it was worrying time, very worrying, because you didn't know if you had a job. You were saying to yourself, well, where am I going to go for the Hibs? Am I going to get a club? Because as a player, you're like that, a bit like that. But the main thing was the club survived. But it was great Hibs people that kept the club going. That was great people who had and they're still going about today. Still see them today. The people, they know who I'm talking about. The people that really were Hibs. Hadn't it been for them, we had real problems. But they're the ones that kept it going, and because they were not going to let go of Hibs. No matter what happened, they were never going to let go of Hibs, and that's what that drive and determination for them, and then the supporters was enough to get us back on track.
And obviously, getting back on track, ended up winning the League Cup. How was that to kind of go from that one extreme to the other?
It was unbelievable, really. But we kind of had a feeling at the start of the season we were flying, just like we talked about earlier on. We started at home and we won a couple of games, and it started to build. Obviously, your confidence gets high, but we all had a chip on our shoulder, because we nearly lost the club the year before. So thinking, we need to step up now. I need to step up and make sure this doesn't happen again. Well, that's the way I viewed it. I thought to myself, very lucky to have the club. Let's go for it. Let's try and get and we did. And it just all clicked. With good players at the club, good supporter, boys that wanted to play for the club. Knew what it meant to play for the club. And then it just all happened that we had a decent side. The manager put a good side together, and then once we got going, he just felt invincible. He felt as if he could beat anybody. And I think and hopefully it happens again at the club. But when you get that feeling that you can go out and beat anybody, there's no better feeling. It's a great feeling, and we had that especially early in the season, because we started well and got a good few results under our belt. And at home, as we say, teams weren't comfortable coming to Easter Road because they knew they were going to get a real game, and that's all. And that just built up to obviously into the cup situation.
Yeah, and then see on that, we're obviously talking about the feeling, like how do you react when you're getting booed, for example. But obviously you had your own song, so how did that feel like?
Oh, it was you still believe it to this day. I remember being at a game and took my son one day and. It was a home game here a couple of months ago, and it was a big group of supporters who started singing it, and I'm thinking to myself, this is nuts, because I'm thinking, you must be old by now. You must be getting on a bit. No, I don't think there's any better feeling, than having somebody. Be honest, they were, as I say, they kept me going a long time. Good times, bad times, but when you get that, you see I still get the same feeling with John McGinn. John McGinn's, when they start singing the John McGinn song when he was at the Scottish Cup final, and it's a great feeling. There's no better feeling. But then again, I always say I was very fortunate, but that happened for me, and they just kind of took to me. I think they realised that I cared about the club, and when I went out and played, I gave everything. I played well every week. And there was many games I didn't play well, I can assure you, but always gave everything, and that was for a young man all the way through. My full focus in football was, and I still say to young boys now, is give everything. Treat it like it's your last game, and that's the way I viewed it, because I always think to myself, maybe it'll be my last game for playing for the Hibs, because the standard at that time was quite high. There was a lot of good players and other clubs as well, when you're thinking, I need to just keep going here, and you've got the jersey, just hold on to it. That's the way I viewed it that time.
I still think it's the same. I think if you work hard, then you get away with it. You get away with a lot more with Hibs fans, so they can be patient if they see you're putting in a shift. So I still think to this day it's the exact same.
And Dave was mentioning the song there. How did you feel when Ivan Sproul stole your song?
Well, it was, to be fair, I didn't even know, because I was at Motherwell at the time, and I was coaching at Motherwell at the time, and I watched it in Ibrox. They were playing Rangers. I remember it, and I started singing this Ivan Sproul song, and I'm thinking to myself, oh well, they'll move to somebody else then. That's football, That's football, but it just happens. I never ever looked at it. I just thought to myself, good on you. Good on anybody that gets that kind of. But it's something that's special. That it's something you can say, well, at least I had that. Something.
So see, a lot of the team a lot of Alex Miller's team went on to be into coaching and management and that, and you touched on it, you went to it with Motherwell for a bit. Is there a reason you didn't stay in it?
Well, a lot of it was down to my health, really. I went to Kildinbeath with Keith Wright as assistant manager at Kildinbeath. Loved it, and we did reasonably well. And I always thought that Keith Wright could be a very good manager. I thought he'd have been a very good manager, but unfortunately he went down our road. But at that time I was really struggling with my back, and I knew I had to have time off to get my back repaired, and so it was a bit of a mixed feeling, because I should have really kicked on, but when I went to Motherwell it started getting worse and worse, and it came to the end when I left Motherwell, it was unbearable, so I had to get something done with it. So it was either sticking at coaching. I wasn't able, to be honest. I wasn't able to do the coaching. I had to virtually take 2 years, maybe more than 2 years, to get my health right. And by that time I hadn't had the time to go and get coaching badges, these type of stuff, which is all needed now. So that was that was a big hit for me, really. I still love the game, I still get loving involved in it, but it was mainly down to my health. I had to get my health right because it was just getting worse and worse, and I thought I need to do something about this. So I had to take a step back for the game. And then you know what it's like when you're out of the game a wee while, it's hard to get back in, you know, and it kind of become tougher and tougher. Mainly down to having to get your badges and these type of stuff. But I was only interested in my health, to be honest, because I thought the situation I was in, I thought there's more to life than
only a game, innit?
Coaching. Yeah. I thought to myself, I want to be healthy, you know, I want to be out. But now I play five-a-sides. If I look back then, I would never in a million years thought I could play five-a-sides and make a fool of myself and play football. So that was the main reason. And it still annoys me. It irks me, you know. But your health is everything, is it? Your health's everything.
Yeah. And so you think if it wasn't for those injuries, you would have definitely stuck with it? And
100%. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And you never say never. You know, I've still got the passion. I've still got the hunger for it. To do something in the game, to coaching wise. But whether I'll get the chance to is a difficult. As I say, it's difficult once you've been out the game a wee while. But I've still got my views on the game. But I think everybody's got their own views on the game. I think that's a good part, you know. But certainly, I still enjoy watching it, and I'm getting broiled. I kind of watch games. I watch a game every 3 games a night, and all different. I'm always watching older games. I like watching old school games, you know, because I sometimes I get the modern games a wee bit. It's a bit complicated for me, you know. Right. I think they'll complicate the game too much, you know. And I like to look at the old school managers, you know, your Bob Paisleys, Jock Steins, Sir Alex, all these type of guys. And then move on to the sort of modern. There's obviously great managers now, but I like to see a bit of both, you know, because I think, as I said, I think they overcomplicate the game at times, you know, and the game's about players. Yeah. You can be the best coach, best manager, but see if you're good at picking a player, then many times you'll do alright, you know. If you look at the great managers, your Bill Shankly's, your Bob Paisleys, Sir Alex and that, all great managers, but they all had an eye for a player. They all knew what player would suit their club. We had a couple of great managers here, you know, and if you look at the players that come to this club, some great players, Eddie Turnbull's players, you know, Alex Edwards and Cropley's, these type of guys, fantastic football players, but they all had an eye for, you know, it. It wasn't about coaching and about, you know, this sports science stuff, you know. It's about players. If you've got good players, you've got half a chance, you know.
And out of so on topic of managers, then, out of the managers you kind of played under at Hibs, would you say there's one that kind of was, you know, one that if you went into management you would have taken a lot of stuff from? And
I think you hear from everybody say the same thing. You take a bit from every manager, don't you?
Yeah. Everybody
says that, and it's true. It's true. I never used to look at it that way, but I do. I look at Pat Stanton, who was my first manager. He was a great man, great person, and he would say things to you very quietly, but he would get the message across, you know. He wouldn't say too much, but when he said something, you'd listen to him. Yeah. You'd say, that's a great point. Pat was a bit like that. You had Jimmy Rourke, who was a Rottweiler. He was the one that I was absolutely terrified of Jimmy Rourke. But he used to always keep drumming, you're playing for the Hibs every single day, and it was just, but a great coach, very underrated coach, kept it very simple. Then you had George Stewart, who was another great coach, defensive coach, knew the game. Then you moved on to you learned from him. John Blackley, the manager, only worked in there a wee while. Then you moved on to Alex Miller, who was a great coach. He was the best coach I worked under by a mile, in terms of he was doing things then that all the managers are doing now, you know, these tests and taking your weight and taking your body fat. He was doing away back then, you know. And it used to make me laugh. Some of the players used to turn up a stone overweight for the start pre-season, and he'd say you'd be back 3 times a day, and he was away back then. He was way ahead of his time in terms of preparation, way ahead of his time. I think it's quite documented. I didn't get on with his man management. Wasn't for me, but it didn't mean I didn't have respect for him, because I learnt so much of him on the game, you know. And then you move on to the small spell with Jimmy Nicholl, who was a great man manager, So you pick up for everybody, you know. Alex McLeish at Motherwell, good man manager. So you pick up for everybody, you know. But I think it's alright being a good man manager, but you still need to know the game, you know, nuts and bolts of the game. You still need to know, and that's why I done a lot of studying myself. You know, I would go and drive up to Aberdeen to watch the great Aberdeen sides, Weir Strackens of this world, and then I would drive to Liverpool to watch the great Liverpool sides. I'd done a lot myself because I always wanted to look and say, how are they so good? You know, how are Liverpool so good? What's their knack? You know, what do they do? So I was always into that, and I think a lot of managers still do that. Coaches do that now. They've all got a bit, but I just try to take a wee bit of every manager I worked with. But I always had respect for them. One thing I always, you might fall out with them, you might have a wee bit. Always try to take something out of one of them and say, well, I'll use that, you know, whenever it comes. And
I mean, you say about, you know, you were driving to the games. It's definitely better to watch a game in person and stuff, but at the same time you're a bit jealous of some of the access players have got now to all the different games, and you know, all the sort of TVs,
it's amazing
and stuff,
what you can get nowadays.
Yeah,
but I still think that there's nothing beats being at a live game. You know, I don't think anything beats that, you know, being at a live game. And you know why? You know why I think it's better to be at a live game? Because I've been at games where you hear supporters criticising a player, and I mind being at one game, I'll not mention his name because but it was an absolute nightmare, you know, and you're saying, just play the ball forward. There was a defender at the time, just play it forward, son, and he kept trying to do the same thing, and the supporters were getting on his back, and you're saying, just play it forward. That's where you learn, and you learn, and you say to yourself, well, he's not taking things on here. The supporters are telling him, the coaches are telling him, and he just kept doing the same thing, and eventually they lost a goal and everybody went for him. When you're looking at a live game, you know yourselves, it's completely different. You're sitting in the house and you're thinking, you don't hear the supporters saying, I love listening to supporters, you know, I love listening to somebody saying, you know, why did you not play the ball in there, or why did you not do that? And because you've got to remember, the guys that are sitting in the stand, they've only watched the best Hibs teams. You know, they've watched the Paddy Stantons of this world, and then moved on to Frank Suze's and all these. They've seen the best. So when they make comments, you'd be silly not to listen to them. You know, because they know what's needed for the Hibs. So I always think that a live game, I would never judge a player off a video. Never would that get me judging it. I would like to be there and see how he handles getting booed at, these type of things. Does he go into a wee shell, these type of things, and that's what. But that was old school way of managing, you know. And but you look at some of the stuff they've got nowadays. But as I said to you earlier on, I think it's they overcomplicate the game so much. It's frightening at times, you know. The evidence, you know, video evidence and this and that and analysis, and I'm thinking to myself, sometimes you can get too much information as a football player, can't you? You just want to get out and play at times, you know. So, but what they've got is, don't get me wrong, it's some of it's great stuff, you know. You can't help but pick up these things, isn't you?
Okay, so so what we'll do is that we'll go into the Motherwell game, and then we'll kind of finish up. We've got some questions from fans, so sort of do a quick fire to finish up. So I mean, before we talk about Motherwell, I mean, you sort of finished your career at Motherwell. How was it that came about as a move for you?
Well, it came. I was actually got released from here. Jim Duffy released me. It wasn't going well for me, to be fair. When he came in, he had his own views, which is that's what a manager does. A manager's got to make his own viewpoints. I still thought I could still contribute, but he found it otherwise. So when I left here, I remember walking out there with a pair of boots in my hands, devastated, absolutely devastated. Never knew anything else, a pair of boots in. But you found it's a very lonely business, football. You know, it's a lonely game, you know, and nobody shook my hands and says thanks very much or nothing.
Really? Just
in the car, away up the roads. And I stayed up at Newington at the time. I was devastated. Going home in tears, going and sitting there devastated, thinking what's my next move. And it took me a wee bit to go over it, maybe a couple of weeks, and then I got a phone call out the blue from Murdo MacLeod to go to Partick. I went to Partick, I trained there for a week, and then Alex McLeish got in contact with me and said, would you come in? We'll have a wee look at you and we'll start, see how you feel. And I said, yeah, no problem. So I went there, did reasonably well, and then I got in a contract, and I was there for 2 and a bit seasons. injuries. The injuries started to flare up again, and it was just a nightmare, you know. And I eventually knew that I need to call it a day here, because there was a specific game I played against Kilmarnock where I found it difficult, you know. I found it hard. Everything was becoming an effort. I couldn't train every day, and you need to train every day at the top level, you know. You need to train. I was only training a couple of days a week, and I looked after myself, but it wasn't enough. And I eventually said, you know something, I need to just call this a day. And then I went into the coaching. Billy Davis asked me to go into the coaching side with the youths, which come right out of the blue as well. And I was 3 seasons maybe there, and loved it. Loved working with the young players, and brought a few good young players through, which is that's what you want to do, So, but I loved it, Motherwell. Absolutely loved it, you know. But it was difficult leaving here, and then going to a club such as Motherwell. But I loved it because I was still playing. That was the main thing. But eventually I knew a year and a half into my contract it wasn't going to be long, because I was struggling so bad in injury, you know. I thought, no, it's not happening. And I always relate that to going back to playing with the Hibs as a young man. The amount of effort that your Paul Kanes, your Eddie Mays, all these type of boys had to put a lot of work in. Young boys think it's just about talent, you know. And we'd be in Meadowbank Stadium 3 times a week, sprint training, you know, doing all your sit-ups and press-ups, and eventually it took its toll. That was just to make sure you give yourself the best chance. And it took its toll on me later in life, definitely, you know.
Did you play against Hibs?
I did. I played against Hibs for Motherwell.
Aye.
Yeah, and I scored against them, and it was.
Oh man,
it wasn't easy, but that was kind of the turning point, because I came out to play the game, and I had my family in the stand, and I remember just walking out, and the Hibs end all stood up and started singing. And I was thinking, oh, this was hard. It was the hardest 90 minutes. I'd never played against Hibs, you know. But the supporters were brilliant with me until I scored, and then they kind of turned quite. It was I remember I just hit it and I ended up in the net, but it didn't matter. But I never. It didn't feel, although, because we were struggling at the time. Motherwell were struggling at the time, and Motherwell and Hibs were down there as well. So it was a bit of a fight between us, you know. So, but I would never forget that. That was it was a great touch, because I thought, they might just go for me here, which supporters are supporters, but they were absolutely brilliant to me, and it meant a lot, because my family and up in the stand were saying to myself, did you hear that, Michael? It was tough, you know, 90 minutes playing against your team, but you've got to be professional and get on with it, you know. But it wasn't easy.
Danny Swanson had that at the weekend. Danny Swanson got quite a good reception. He got clapped on and that, and I was thinking that to myself, is that I must feel quite good, but obviously across the bottom for then the boy to score, so my feelings after it changed. But
aye, and I think, you know, one of the reasons he got such a great reception was because he's a Hibbie. He's so well known for being a Hibbie, just like yourself. Because I always found it a bit strange that, you know, David Witherspoon put in a good shift to his time here, done quite well for us, but never, you know, was never really up there as a top quality player, and then went to St Johnstone. He's playing for his boyhood club now, and I've heard being away. We were at St Johnstone away last season, and he was getting booed whilst on the ball. I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong for us or anything like that, but that sort of thing.
You've got to be a Hibbie.
You've got to be a Hibbie.
If you're a Hibbie and you come back, it's alright.
Aye.
It's a fickle. Football players are supporters are fickle, isn't it? It's just you get the same with the Hearts, don't you? You get the same with Celtic, the Rangers. That's just par for it. But I think the supporters find you out very quickly if if there's something about you, especially they know it's your club, the club you support. They find out that very quickly, and I found that out very quickly as well. Good times and bad times, by the way, you know. So you do find out, but supporters are. There's nothing without them, you know. There's nothing without them. They can make you or they can break you. You know, it's simple as that.
And so, what have you made to Motherwell's start to the season this season?
Yeah, well, they've got quite a young side, haven't they? They've got a lot of good young players in there, and they seem to keep turning them out. You know, it's a small, and they don't have a lot of. You know, they don't have a sort of a good catchment area. You know, it's not a big catchment area. But even when I was there, we managed to find players for some reason. You know, it was. You would think that the Celtic and Rangers would get to these players. You know, but a great catch. It was just a small catchment area, but there's always players. But I think the same. You could say the same about Edinburgh. You could say the same about you know, your Livingstons of this world. There's players there. There is players, you know. It's just getting out there and getting, and sometimes you just need a wee chance, you know. But Motherwell's got a lot of good young players, and I think they can only get better, can't they? They can only get better, and you see them, but they always seem to do it. They always seem to. They're a bit like Hamilton. Hamilton are the same. They bring 2 or 3. They always find 2 or 3 good, and there's nothing like a young player that can play for his home club. You know, there's nothing like it, because I think we've kind of went away for that. A lot of clubs are went away, and I think you should be looking for to see the homegrown players. I think clubs need that, and I got that from, it was actually Sir Alex Ferguson that said that to me one day. Always try and get some homegrown. He built all his clubs around homegrown. When he was at Aberdeen, he had Aberdeen boys sort of homegrown, and then he obviously went to St Mirren, did the same. But Hibs did that. Turnbull did that, you know, and way back. And Liverpool, the great Liverpool sides had it homegrown. Maybe even 2 or 3. All it takes is 2 or 3 who know the club, you know, who know what the expectations are. And if somebody maybe comes into a club, they can guide them. They can help them. We did it when we were players. The guys that came into our club that maybe didn't realise how big a club we were into. You could help them the wee bits. And I many a times spoke to players, you know, about playing for the Hibs, and they found it quite tough, you know, because it's playing for, no disrespect to lesser clubs, but you come in through the doors, there's an expectation right away that you need to deal with, and some of them found it hard. And I think if you've got guys that have been about the club for a wee while, I think that they can help you in so many areas, you know.
Yeah. Motherwell, you know, they've went out the cup to Hearts, decent performance, but unfortunately to go out to the cup to Hearts, and then they're coming off the back of a Lanarkshire derby. Is that right?
Hamilton, yeah.
Lanarkshire derby. I was trying to think if that's the right phrase for it. Yeah, but yeah, Lanarkshire derby against Hamilton, good win. So how are you feeling about the game? Dave, start myself.
After that weekend for us, and I'm not really that confident, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and lie and think we're going to win, but you never know. Could get a bounce back, because they all know, I think all the players and the management and that know how disgruntled everyone is, especially after the back of that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe get a bounce off that.
Yeah, well, I think they've got to improve, haven't they? They've got to improve. And sometimes when you're going through sticky spells, it's not a bad way is away from home. Yeah. You know, because you know yourself, the away support, you always get the Hibs have always had a good away support, but for especially players, I think that have just come into the club, you know, still. I was speaking to a couple of my friends about the day the young striker that's just came in. I keep forgetting his name. Deutsch. I keep forgetting his name anyway. Sometimes because they've come to the club, they think they're going to hit the ground running, you know. And sometimes you're better being taken out, you know, and brought on, and just feel your way into playing for the Hibs or Celtic, whoever it may be. I remember sitting out there and Henrik Larsson getting booed when Chick Charnley scored. I don't know if he's been at the game.
Oh, was it that game?
Yeah. And they booed, the Celtic supporters were booing Henrik Larsson, and he didn't turn out too bad, did he? But sometimes you get players that take a wee bit more time. Yeah. And you've seen it at the weekend. You could see that you can still see that he's trying hard enough, he's working hard enough, but it's just not happening for him. But sometimes you need to be taken out and just brought in gradually. So that's what I think. Away from home, sometimes it can help a lot of players just settle in, you know, because they're at home, you're there, you know, you must perform. That's it. You've got to, away from home, the pressure sometimes, because teams come out of you, they're at home, and you can get a wee chance to breathe in a wee bit again. And I think it'd be not bad. I think it could be. I fancy the Hibs to win there, actually. Yeah. I've got a wee feeling for the Hibs to go there and win. Just simply because of that reason. I think that the wee put the bit of pressure at home, the wee release for a wee, you know, a game could maybe just be the wee thing that it sparks one or two into a performance, you know. And it's no easy out there when you're going through a bad spell, and you know the supporters are on to you, and especially if you're a player that's just come to the club, you know, because a lot of them, it's difficult to handle it, and it maybe take them a wee bit more time. So away from home, I think it's not a bad fixture for us.
Score predictions for the game then?
I'm going to go one each.
Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 Hibs.
2-1 Hibs.
2-1 Hibs.
Good stuff. Okay, right. So quickly, we're going to talk on two things, the Pat Stanton thing in a second, but firstly, we know you've got your Show Racism, the red card shirt on today. I just wanted to ask, how did you get involved with that then?
I got involved a number of years ago. I was just virtually sickened by racial abuse being thrown at a number of black players, and I thought to myself at that time, I thought, this is not right, you know. I was never ever brought up that way. I was never ever brought up with that kind of attitude towards people, and I just heard about this campaign. I made a call and asked if I could help in any way, and I've been doing it ever since. Do as much as I can, going to club events, do grassroots events, going to football clubs, into schools, into whatever it is, and just basically try and help, just make people aware of the menace of racism, and it's not needed. It's absolutely, especially nowadays, if you look at every club in the Scottish Premier League, we've got all different nationalities, cultures, religions. It shouldn't matter, but it just annoyed me, because when I listened to players, i.e. way back when Mark Waters played with the Rangers and he was I remember him getting bananas thrown at him and things like that, thinking this is, as a football player, as a human being, no matter what colour of skin you are, it should never matter. So that's basically what I got involved in it, and I'm very passionate about it now, very passionate, because as soon as it raises its ugly head, it just annoys me so much to think that, what do you get out of this? What do you get away with it? Because it doesn't. I don't see it, and I never will understand it. Why people would have that attitude towards folk? I just don't get it. Not just because of the colour of skin, all different reasons, but bigotry as well. I just don't get it. I think to myself, as human beings at the end of the day, and if you can't walk away from that, it's changed so much now. It's got better and better simply because of these campaigns. We do so much. We do so much. It's only a small campaign, but the work that these people put in is unbelievable. And I'm privileged to be it, and I'm happy to work alongside and try my best with it.
Right.
Yeah. That was really good there.
So and also you got asked by Kano to kind of make sure that you mention it today, the Pat Stanton event. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's next Saturday night. I think it's the 7th, Pat Stanton's 75th anniversary. Really looking forward to it. He's got great names coming up. Sir Alex is coming up. I think Stevie Archibald, Gordon Strachan, these type of people. It'll be a great night, and I think that if there's ever a man that needs supporting, it is Pat Stanton. Because I remember walking in my first day, and you couldn't imagine that my dad's best player was Pat Stanton, and I go and I meet Pat Stanton, and I'm training. He's my manager, and I still say he was still the best player, and he was 40 odd year old, but he was still the best player. The class, just class, but not just that, a good man, a good person, and I think he deserves everything he can possibly get, because he was the man that virtually brought the likes of myself and Paul Keynes, Johnny Collins, these type of guys, Eddie Mays, all these people were all under Pat Stanton, who made us aware of it. Kevin McKee was another one, at 16 year old playing at Ibrox, 17 year old. They were the ones that gave us a chance, the opportunity. Yeah. But he treated you, and you would have done anything for him. He was that type of man. I don't think he sat comfortable being a manager, didn't sit comfortable with him, and I think he found that early on. But as a person, I think there's no better man than Pat Stanton to represent Hibernian Football Club, and I just hope he gets a great turnout. I'm sure he will, because he deserves it.
I mean, my dad's always had a soft spot for George Best, both at Man United and at Hibs and stuff, and I think he's even got some pennants and stuff like that. But I say to him, who's the best player you've seen in the Hibs jersey? Pat Stanton.
It was unbelievable. What he would be worth nowadays, you couldn't imagine. I mean, I was only young, but I seen him when he was older, and I'm thinking, how good would he have been when he was young? Yeah. But these type of players are, I wouldn't like to know how much they would be worth, but it was just class, just an elegance about him, just class, and he had that. But he had that old streak about him as well, had that nasty bit about him, and he loved the club, he loved the Hibs, and just a great person, and I think he'll have a good night, and I think we'll all have a good night that night. But I won't try and get myself away, because once you start getting drunk and that, I start to starting to get myself out the road.
And I mean, it's great to really hear yourself and the likes of Pat, when I've heard him speak so passionately about Hibs and stuff, and just sort of, to me, growing up, when hearing people like Pat and yourself speak so passionately about the club, kind of helps younger fans realise how special a club it is and why, when growing up, you should really kind of become passionate about the club too. So, definitely great to hear. So yeah, we'll get all the. We should make sure to share all the details with all that, and we'll try to get Kano on and maybe even Pat before then. So we'll try and organise that. So yeah, thanks for taking time to speak about that. Okay, so we're going to finish up with some of your guys' questions. So starting with Facebook, James on Facebook has said, is he free to take over as manager? Seriously though, what does he think of the current team and management? Are they good enough? I mean, you've kind of spoke about it already, but
it's very early days. It's early days in the season. Sometimes it's good to have a wee bad start just to get you going. There's other times where you can come flying out the traps, and I always think it's good to build up to a good season, because there's nowhere to hide when you win every week and then suddenly you hit a bad spell. How do you deal with it? Yeah. I would rather get it, because there's always a season, there's always a part of the season you have a bad spell. Every club has a bad spell. It doesn't matter how far or how good you are, and I believe that you're better having it at the start of the season and finishing strong. Whereas if you get a good start, but supporters want to be at the end of the season. Supporters want to walk away from the club saying, "I'm looking forward to next year." But if it's at the end of the season you have a bad spell, yourself, you're supporters, then you say, "Can I go back and watch that next year again?" And so I always think, give it a chance. It's still early days, and I never judge anybody until you're sort of halfway into the season. Then you get a real idea. And now players are still getting fit. A lot of players are still not quite. I think I was listening the other day, Lou Stevenson, I don't think he's done a pre-season.
No.
So, and that's difficult to play games and not done a pre-season. It's no easy. I
hadn't even played in a development game and then played 120 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you're judging things.
He's something else. I mean, a lot of the new signings have signed 3-year deals. Do you think, we may have to take a step back and think more long term? Maybe see this as a transitional season
100%,
for these new signings to bed in.
No, you've definitely got to look that way, because I say, just look at the personnel you've lost. Mm-hmm. You keep going back to McGinn, but these are hard hits for clubs. You just can't prize a John McGinn out there everywhere. And so it's going to take a wee bit of time to go on, and it was always going to be that for me. When I said that way back, people were saying, "No, we got this." No, you can't. My experience, you cannot just suddenly find a John McGinn. Yeah, it takes time, and it might take 2 players to replace the one, if you know what I mean. In terms of a team ethic, that's what you've got to look for, and hopefully it does happen that way.
Yeah. So there's just a couple of other things, sort of like saying, Martin said my boyhood hero, and Andrew's asked if you fancy a job as a new manager as well. But Nicholas has said, were you happy being played out of position as a player?
Didn't bother me one little bit.
Yeah.
Never bothered me one little bit. I had a conversation with a lad last week there about. I said to him, what position do you think I started my career at? Mm-hmm. He was in midfield and right up front and whatever. I started at left back. Played one of my first games at Hibs at left back, and the manager said to me, "Do you think you could play left back?" And I went, "Yeah." I never thought, I can't play left back. And I would have just done. I just get me the strip, put me on, because I just wanted to play for the first team. So never bothered. No player likes to be played out of position, but it didn't bother me as long as I was playing. I was happy to play wide left, up front, midfield, whatever. It didn't bother me. Goalie, I don't think the goalkeeper. I don't think I went too well with the goalkeeping situation. Yeah. And I'm getting chipped to 60 yards, and then that would do me well. But anywhere else, no, it wouldn't have bothered me. Just play.
So on to .net now, and Viva Palmaras, he had asked, sort of we're looking at the questions earlier on, so credit to him for what we're asking about earlier on about Miller's influence and things like that. A lot of the Miller players went on to be into management. Do you think that was because of him?
Yeah, 100%. He was, as I say, he was way ahead of his times, tactically very good. His conversations about the game are good. He just knew his stuff, and I think it would be silly not to listen to him. Yeah, he's right. A lot of the players 100%, because he was engrossed in the game. You know, that's one thing. His work ethic was second to none, and that's why he got success. You know, because his work ethic was second to none. He knew every player, their weaks, their strength. You know, the weaknesses, their strengths. Your own players, opposition. He done his homework very, he was very thorough. You know, and I think a lot of managers now were like that, innit? But he was away back then. They were like that. He was, you know, he was ahead of his time.
He ended up at Liverpool with Benitez, didn't he?
Yeah, ended up Liverpool. Yeah. But as I say, he was very thorough, but ahead, because he did think way beyond some of the stuff they're doing now. As I say, he was doing that back then.
Next question we've got is from Wookie70. He said about yourself being on Sports Sound doing work with True Racism, The Red Card, and Derek Ferguson. Talked to him about the Rangers. What was sort of your opinion on his thing with all the stuff going on with the Rangers at the moment and stuff?
Yeah, well, it's just it's one of these things that me and Derek talk about. Derek's a good friend of mine, you know, because we're passionate about the campaign, True Racism, Red Card, and I think that what Stephen Gerrard's coming out with at the moment is right. Things have got to change, you know. The dark ages have got to go. It's you know, if you could imagine when I was a young player, we talk about it quite a lot, I wouldn't have been able to play for the Glasgow Rangers. So that made a young player, because I'm a Catholic, couldn't have played for Rangers. No, that holds you back as a person. It holds the club back as well. But that was back then. Now, if you'd have said to me, you could play for Rangers, being a Catholic, playing for Rangers, I would never have believed that. You know, but it was a great man, Graham Souness, who was strong enough to change that and step in and say, I don't care what his religion, nationality, whatever it may be, as long as he's a good football player. That's all that matters, and that's all it should matter, you know. So I think Stephen coming up with that kind of statement, I think, yeah, we've got to fight it. We've got to keep fighting it until it goes, you know. It might take a long time, but we've got to keep going, you know.
Next one is Thunderhall Hibs. I mean, we've already kind of touched on this, but he's just sort of saying about the negativity from Hibs fans at the moment. Is it maybe the worst it's been in years?
No, we've been through bad spells. Every club goes through a bad spell, you know, every club. And it's just one of those situations, and I think the expectations is what the problem is, you know, because as we keep talking, we've won the Scottish Cup, and then suddenly this team's been broke up, and we're now back, and we're expecting to hit the ground running. And to me, it was never going to happen. It was always going to be transitional. I think we need to realise that's the situation, and finding these type of quality players is going to take a wee bit of time, and hopefully we can get that back. But it's just the expectation level, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, Hibs should be always been trying to be into Europe, guaranteed trying to be in Europe every year, without a shadow of a doubt. But it doesn't always work out like that, you know, and it maybe take a wee bit longer. But the expectation level is definitely rising. You just know yourselves, because you're supporters, but it's definitely got bigger and bigger, and it did in our day. It was the same thing, and you need to deal with that, and you need to handle that and say, you know, we've been in Europe, so next year we want to be in Europe again. But we've lost so much. I keep saying the personnel we've lost has definitely knocked us back the way, and we've just now got to recover for it, you know.
Next one's from Spike220, who's asked, that goal against Rangers, did you pick out Keith, or did you just swing the ball into the air and hope for the best?
No, the simple truth is, and I've said to Keith quite a few times, if you can't pick up and pass that to a head that size, then you're a bad player. So I seen a big ginger head in the middle of and I thought, just hitting an area, because Keith at that time, Keith was great in the air. He just hit an area. I knew he would get something onto it. So it wasn't the one that I certainly seen him. Yeah, I did mean it. Put it that way. Yeah, I knew what I was trying to do. Just put in an area for the big head to get on the end there.
Next one's from Swedish Hibby, who's asked, who's the best captain you've ever played under?
Oh no, there's a good one. Good captain. I liked all my captains, to be honest. I like Gordon Ray. Gordon Ray was a captain, good captain. Graham Mitchell was a great captain. It's different clubs as well. You know, I played under with a guy at Luton, Steve Foster, maybe you never remember him. Big English international, he was a good captain. But if I was going to go for one, I'd probably say, just simply because I liked Big Gordon Ray, I like Gordon because he helped me so much as a young man, as a young person. So I'd probably go bigger. And plus, he's a big guy, and if I didn't say that, he would probably come out and bother me. I'm with him next week, so I'm not going to miss him. And Murdo McLeod as well, by the way, great captain. So some good ones.
Somebody said to Mr. Miyagi on Twitter, so he's actually been on the podcast before, did you go down easy for the penalty versus Dunfermline in the School Cup final?
Did they go down easy? I always say to my wee boy, he gives me pelters for it, my wee lad, he gives me pelters for it. Dad, did you dive? I said, I never died. I lost my feet, and that's the truth. I lost my footing. But I kept saying to him, Harrison, you can come and I'll show you my medal anytime you want, son. Because that's all that matters to me. I'm not interested.
And then he's also asked, do you have any regrets about your Hibs career?
My main regret for the Hibs was not playing enough games for them. Simply because of injury. Injury destroyed my career at Hibs. Destroyed me as a person. It destroyed me as well because it was difficult at times. But that's the only regrets, was I wanted to play more, and the constant injury. And I knew very early on that my body wasn't equipped to play week in, week out. You know, and because I wasn't, my stature wasn't, I just couldn't. The demands of the game was far too much for me. But to get the amount of games that I did, I'm very fortunate, I believe. But that was my one regret. I wanted to play so many more. I wanted to play more cup finals. I wanted to play, you know, as many games in Europe as possible. But it curtailed me. Injury curtailed me. That was the only regret. I just wish I had played more times.
And then Colin McGinn, I don't know if you'll remember this, but you were singing Red Red Wine at the Trinent Hibs presentation dance back in the day. Apparently you're some singer.
Oh, I don't drink today.
No.
I don't drink, so I've sung at a few dues. When I go to these dues, I get carried away, you know, because you're in amongst the supporters and they wish you to do something stupid, so I do it. But I did like a chant back in the time, when I was a young man. Yeah, he's right, he's spot on. But I wasn't drunk, because I used to get people saying, aye, you know, you always get that, don't you? People saw you up the tune, you were absolutely steaming, falling about the place, and I'm thinking to myself, but I've never drank in my life. I don't know where you get that. Because you think you drink, because you sing, you must have had a drink, you know, but no, so I did make a fool of myself on a number of occasions, right there.
Liam Fogarty is asking if you could bring one player from your era and put them in the current squad, who would it be?
Oh. You know something, there's so many. There is so many that I believe are great players, you know. But if I was bringing one in, who would it be? I would think, just sheerly because he was probably one of the best players, if not the best I played, with Steve Archibald. I think he was just class, proper class, you know. And that's what I always think, that I don't know if the game's moved on a wee bit, but as supporters, you're always looking, you do it because you're supporters, you're always looking at the end of the season and you pick up the paper and you say, give me a star, you know. Bring a star to Easter Road, like your Susie. Remember when Susie came? Well, we had it with Archibald, because Archibald was about 30 odd and played at Barcelona, Tottenham. I remember saying, I'm going to be playing alongside Stevie Archibald, you know. But it wasn't really till you played alongside him you realised how good he was, you know. Now if he was to go out there next week and play at Motherwell, you know, against Motherwell, their defenders would be having nightmares thinking about him. So he was one player that, if I was to pull him out, but there's many others that were really good players. I was fortunate, I played a lot of good players, but he was one. He was special. He was the one that you look and go, I see why you've played at Barcelona, Tottenham, you know, Aberdeen, a great Aberdeen, good side. So he was a player and a half. He was a real player.
Is there anybody in the current team that you would have liked to have played with?
Played with the current team? I think there's a few, but it's hard. I must admit, I see more of the side that wee Lenny had. You know, Weir McGinns and that type of thing. I do, because this is a new side. This is a side sort of coming together, isn't it? Really, that you couldn't really look and go.
Yeah. So I guess looking at that team then, the sort of Scottish Cup team, the Lenny's team, the two.
Yeah, they sides.
Anybody from there in particular?
I think McGinn.
Yeah.
I think McGinn's everything I like about a football player. There's others as well. There's others, but he was one that I thought, I'd like to play alongside
it's his
you.
work ethic. He just
It's
never
just
gives
what,
up.
yeah. But it's as I describe him, he doesn't take a day off. You know, never took a day off. He might be having a poor game, but he'd battle and he'd fight and he'd scrap. That's why the supporters loved him.
Yeah.
You know, and yes, he had the ability, but he had that drive, that hunger, and wants to win. You know, and that was an attribute. I was very fortunate being amongst a lot of players who are winners. You know, and I think the good players want to win, but no now and then, every week. They want to win every week. And I went out to Motherwell. I went to Motherwell. I played with boys like Oney Coyle. There was a few in that team as well, but they were winners, you know. And when you play alongside these guys, you say to yourself, these are out and out winners, you know. And I loved playing alongside the boys, you know. I wanted to play alongside winners, guys that would go that wee extra. But even when I was a young man, I was like that. I wanted to be amongst winners. You might get beat now and then, but as long as you're determined to win, you know. And I think the McGinns of these type of worlds were the ones that I would like to have played alongside, and many other ones as well, you know, because there's a few over the years. But he's definitely one I would like to have been inside me.
Aye.
You know, doing the battling and the scrapping as we talk about, but that's what he had, didn't it? You know?
Yeah.
I think one of the clips that sums up McGinn the best was pre-season for Aston Villa this year. He just sort of closed the boy down in the corner, won the ball, started charging along the line. The boy tries to take him down inside the box. He just stays on his feet and he just keeps on going, and then just scores at the near post. It's just brilliant. There's so many times he could go down for a free kick or he could go down for a penalty, and he just keeps on going, and he scores.
I remember playing I remember playing with wee Willie Miller that played with Hibs. It was in there, like just a young boy, and we were playing at Parkhead, and he went in a tackle, and I think it was Owen Archdeacon I think he was playing against, but he was just a young man, you know, just got the Hibs top, the Hibs strip, and he went in this tackle and he absolutely smashed him, and I thought, you'll do for me. You know, I thought, I want him behind me.
Aye.
You know, and I love playing with the wee man. I love playing with Willie because you knew that they had a tough game. Whoever they were playing against, they had a game and a half, just because he was a winner. Gordon Hunter was a winner, you know, these type of guys. But you can also look back at your Kanos, Johnny Collins, winners, again, boys that wanted to win. And I was very fortunate to play with a lot of boys, but that's why you get where you get. You know, you can't take days off. Like John McGinn and that, don't take days off. They want the hunger to keep going. Forget about the finances. Forget about you know, they want to win. They want to have trophies. They want to win something in their career. That's the type of guys that I like playing alongside. You know, and I like to manage them. And I like to have boys like that, and you're changing them. You've got half a chance. You know. Just
on John Collins there, obviously brilliant talent as a player and stuff. What was it like being, you know, established in the squad and having him come to the youth ranks?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they were just some great players. You know, really good players that went on to become. But there was, as I say, there was a sort of a group of young players all coming through. There was always one after other, somebody else. You know, obviously your Gordon Hunters and your wee Willie Millers, as you say, Johnny Collins, Eddie Mays, these type of guys. They were always there. There was always somebody knocking at the door to say, I'm wanting in the team, you know, I want to get in. And that's what you need. You need that. And I do think you definitely need young players. You definitely have your own. You need your own group of young players with the hunger. Obviously the talent, you know, it's okay to say, well, bring young players, but you do need them. And you need to work hard at that, you know, because I think once you get that feeling for it, well, it's proved that if you look at Lewis Stevenson, that lad, Paul Hanlon, these type of guys, they've been through heartaches. They've been relegated, you know. They've bounced back. They've won Scottish Cups. They've won League Cups. You know, they've played in Europe. These guys were a homegrown talent who've had to come through hardships to get where they are. I think if you go away from that, I think you're it's such a major thing for me to get your homegrown talent through, and we need that. But they've also got to be good enough, you know. And the biggest thing, sorry, I'm going on a wee bit here, but the thing that really annoys me is, I heard a supporter saying to me one day, he's a good young player, Michael. He says, but he's a bit young. What age is he? He's 22. I'm thinking 22-year-old before you make a decision on a young player. You know, and you know what the hardships is for me, that is, if you're 17-year-old, you could imagine I was 17, Paul Kane, all these guys, 18, whatever, Kev McKee's 17-year-old. When you play at Ibrox at 17-year-old, or Parkhead, or Tynecastle, or whatever it may be, and you get through that, you know, you've been in fights, you've been in scraps at Ibrox and that. So when you come to 19 and 20, you're used to it. You've come through all that. You've got something to fall back on, the experiences. But when you come into a football club or go on a Hibs team at 22-year-old, you know, and you hit a bad spell, which every young player will do. Every young player will hit a bad spell. You watch the amount of ones that just disappear. And I believe it's because they've not been accustomed to the hardships of a young player at 17, 18, playing in big games, even reserve team football. You know, I could go on forever about that. You know, you're 17-year-old, you're playing at Tannadice, you're playing at Tynecastle, you're playing at Easter Road, wherever it may be. Me and Kieran and I talk about it all the time. You become a man quickly. You're 17, you sink or you swim. But when you played at stadiums like that, now you're trying to tell me a young player playing at, I don't know, East Mains, or playing at Bonnyrigg, Rose, or wherever it may be, junior pitches, that doesn't set you right for playing out there in front of 20,000 people. But when you're playing at these venues, you get accustomed to playing at Pittodries, Tynecastles, you know, so you've got a wee idea of what happens when you go play with the first team. But when you're coming from East Mains or wherever it is, thrown right into the first team, you know, it's difficult because you're not used to the pressures. Could you imagine a young player going out there maybe on Saturday and dealing with that when you've never had it before? Whereas I think you need to have the build up. You need to have the reserve team football where you've got experienced players telling you, you know, do this, do that, run there, you know, do this, whatever it may be. You need to have that. You need that experience, because if you look at it, and I've checked the stats. I'm not a stats man, by the way, right? But I've checked the things, and I've watched for many years the amount of young players, and you've seen them, you're supporters. Go back and look at the ones at 22-year-old or 21-year-old that actually go up the way. They just come to a shuddering halt, and I believe it's because they've not been exposed to the hardships of football at a young enough age. You know, I think we've got some good young players, but they should have been in early. If you're good enough, you know, you should be in the first team. No every week, but in there to see, can you handle it? And that's why I think a lot of people just wait too long. They wait too long on them, and that by that time it is too late. You know, it's too late for a lot of young players.
There's a lot of young players that, you know, we've heard the names of for quite a while now, and it's kind of like, right, when are they going to actually get the experience of the first team? Like, I think like Innes Murray is a name I've heard a lot, and things a lot of people quite excited, but he's never been anywhere near the team. He's now, you know, getting older, and it's kind of like, you know, that point where he's 19 or something now, and it's kind of like, really by now we should have had a couple of appearances, things like that, and experience, like you said. So yeah, okay, what's the next question you've got, Dave?
The long bangers on Twitter were asking, what's your favourite goal?
Long bangers.
Long bangers.
They were the days of long bangers, eh? Favourite goal?
Aye.
Favourite goal? What? Oh dear, favourite goal. It was probably my first goal for the Hibs. I don't even know what it was. I don't even know what it was, but it'd probably be my first goal, because they're the ones that, you know, you think I've scored for the Hibs, you know, and no matter what game it was. But I couldn't really give you a favourite, to be honest. Any goal that I scored, I was happy to take, you know. But I think your first goal is always, which I would like to know what it was. I can't remember when it was, but probably the first goal would be I scored for the Hibs, because then you've achieved something, haven't you? You've done something, you've scored. At least you can say, well, you played 50 appearances and never scored, you know. But I scored a goal, so first one would be the best.
Cool. No, there's a couple wanting to know your. Well, I think there's Rab2784 on Twitter, and I think Jamie for the bounce were both asking, or like folk want to know your 1 to 11 best Hibs team, but that'll take you a bit.
I'll be there for 3 days.
Well, maybe next time you're on, maybe
next time I
prepare that for next time you come back. Aye. So Jamie on Hibs Brown says, asked, what was your favourite moment as a player? You had to single it down to one.
Favourite moment was playing my first game for the Hibs. Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Even though it was at left back.
How was at left back? It would have been in goals. It was just you know that old saying, I made it. You know, you used to get your pal saying, my friend made it. You know, I made it. I just wanted to say to my dad, I made it. I played for the Hibs. Because my grand, you've got to know what my family were like. You know, we're just mad Hibs supporters. My granda and that would have been, just to see me wearing the strip once would have been amazing. So I would think that was probably the best one, just to see it actually played once, just the once, and everything else was a bonus after that, you know. But to say that of all your dreams as a young man, you've come into Easter Road, you can put. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of players now, you know, have maybe no hit the heights, but they've said, but I played 30 times for Hibs, 20 times for the Hibs, and that's a lot. You know, no matter what anybody says, if I could say to all the supporters out there, would you just like to get one chance? One chance to play with the Hibs?
So I've not stopped talking about the fact that there's a fans play on the pitch thing. And,
that's right. I've been involved in that. It's great. It's great.
I've done that once, and I've never stopped talking about it. Never mind actually playing for Hibs.
I remember the first one I done, and I was doing the manager, because I do the manager. I love doing it because you see it in their eyes, the boys. But I remember seeing this big boy, and he was welling up. You know, he was really emotional. And I'm saying, big fella, I says, "You're right." He's welling up, and I'm saying, "You should be enjoying this." Oh, but then I thought to myself, maybe I'd have been like that. You know, first game, playing out in the Hello Turf, and thinking, I'm going to wear the Hibs strip. The boy was so. And then it brought home to me, you know, how important it is to people in people's lives. The club, you know, and it's everything. It's you guys, you know, it's everything to the people. It's no when you play, you become a professional. You get out and play football, but you don't realise until you're sitting where we are now, and you're actually talking about the club and how much it means to people, you know. And that the takeover, we're going about the takeover very alone. That's what people underestimated at that time. How much it meant to the Hibs supporters. You know, you are not messing with our club. You're not going to take that club away from us. And it was quite humbling to see these people, you know, grown men, and you're thinking, but it means so much to folk. And it's the same as a supporter getting a chance to put the strip on. How many? There'd be thousands out there would do anything. Thousands do anything just to put the strip on for once. And I think that's what I've looked at. You know, I've wore the Hibs strip once as a supporter. That's what I wanted to do, and I done it. I was lucky.
Right. That's probably a great way to finish up there then.
Very good way to finish up.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time, Mickey.
No problem. Thanks very much for having me.
And we'll leave it there. So thanks again for listening, and we'll be back next Monday.